Hi, I'm Gwyn. I'm a first-year student at Williams College, and today I'm going to be reading you my supplement essay for my application to Williams. So the essay is important. It's going to be important to liberal arts colleges or any college, but they need to see that you can write and need to see something new about you. So I do not have any insider knowledge. Anything I'm telling you here is just what I've read / gathered from other knowledge sources. And I'm sorry I can't be more helpful, but I really can't give you answers on admissions related stuff because unless it's a fact that Williams College has published, like the acceptance rate or the average ACT score, I just don't know the answer. I don't know whether my essay was an asset or a liability, but I know you guys really just want some examples, and there's not a whole lot out there for Williams and other liberal arts colleges, and so I'm just trying to put out this as a resource. Just remember, please, 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 I'm not an expert on this. I don't know how I got into Williams. All I know is that this is what I submitted and they said yes. So Williams has changed their essay requirements this year, which means that this won't be as helpful as it could have been. So the biggest change, I would say, is that you are now able to submit a 3 to 5 page academic paper on whatever subject you like, humanities or social sciences preferably, that you've already written. And so that is an option with the Amherst essay, and I took that option at Amherst and I still got in. So definitely keep that in mind. That ended up being very helpful to me because I was really running out of time, so I applied to too many colleges and I had a lot of essays to write. So I was very glad that was an option. And so Williams is also, that's an option, but they're also allowing you to write one of 3 other essays. For one, so the prompts have a 300-word limit, which is super short. So being concise, getting to the point, but also showing some personality in those 300 words is so important. So the first prompt is about your entry, but it is not identical to what it used to be. It used to be about like, what perspective would you add to the conversation? But now it is, imagine having a late night conversation with your entry mates about a community that you value, describe that community and why it's important to you. So similar, still about identity, but different. I will say the entry is, Williams loves to talk about their entry system. Basically it's 30 to 35 or 40 first years that you live with, and you live in a building with entirely other first years. And every entry has 3 or 4 JAs, which are junior advisors, which are non-disciplinary, like an RA would be. They're just there to help guide you through your Williams experience. And you know, some people, people have varying levels of involvement with their entries. Different entries are closer than others, but it is where your common rooms are, and so I think that's a classic part of the college experience, is late night talks in those common rooms. So that's what that is. If you have any questions about the entry experience, I'm hoping to do a video on that when I'm actually with my entry again in the spring, but if you have any general questions to help you answer that question, feel free to drop them below. Question 2 is totally new this year. It used to be about story time, so like what's a story that you'd share with the campus community, but now it is about stress busters, which is from a campus organization called All Campus Entertainment, and they have stress busters, which are like snacks and like therapy dogs and masseuses and open tabs at the coffee shop that they organize to, you know, bust your stress. We have not gotten to do a whole lot of that this year. They've just given us some coupons, but a highlight of going to Williams is that it's a really rich school, and you can, you know, they want, the money's there for the students, and so you can use that for all sorts of things, which is a very, very valuable thing. Money is valuable. Very insightful, Gwyn. Anyway, the question is, what is your version of a stress buster and how does it help you rejuvenate in the midst of a hectic week? Question 3 is the one I chose to answer, but it was slightly different, so it's about the tutorial. So a tutorial is a hallmark of the Williams experience. Basically, it's a class that you take with just 1 or 2 other people, and you meet every week with your partner and the professor, and like that's the whole class. And if it's like humanities, social sciences, or etc., you will like do a reading, and then person A will write a 5 to 7-ish page paper on it, and then person B will write a like 2-page response to that paper, and that's all within the span of a week. So you do the readings, person A writes a paper, person B writes the response, so it happens very quickly. It's a lot of work, and then you come to your meeting for the week and you just discuss them for like the entire hour-long session. And so you get really like intense feedback from your peers and your professor, and you get this like really, really intimate discussion. It's really cool. It's stressful, but it's really not that bad, I don't think, and it really made me so much better of a writer. And in the following week, person B would write the paper, person A would write the response for a whole new prompt, so a whole new reading. And they also have those for like the hard sciences and math, where it'd be the problem sets, rather than essays, or there are a whole different host of different ways to do it. But essentially, most students end up taking one at Williams, but it is not required, and it is a super cool experience and very, very key to Williams. And so what I see from that is this sort of love for learning. So the question now is, what topic would you be most excited to study in a tutorial and why? Previously, the question was, who would you pick as your tutorial partner and why? So that is the question that I answered, and without further ado, here we go. Good evening, Streaks. Just before going to bed each night, I seek a fun fact for my Snapchat streaks. I intend to maintain this habit at Williams. Sometimes my process is as simple as gazing across the room and Googling factoids about what I see. Did you know that an Iowan invented the very first bread slicing machine? I send quirky streaks for a simple reason. I love acquiring and sharing knowledge. And who better to share learning with than the universally recognized king of random knowledge himself, Alex Trebek. If I could wave a magic wand and give Alex Trebek a break from Jeopardy just long enough to squeeze in a semester-long tutorial, I would never again struggle to find a fun fact. Surrounded by the passion-driven learning community of Williams, Alex and I would challenge each other, learning from our vastly different life experiences and respective repertoires of knowledge. No matter the subject, though I would certainly vouch for alternatives, indigenous futurism and science fiction, or art, life, and death, locating women in Italian Renaissance art, our own curiosity would fuel us to excel in the rigorous class. We would pick up trivia along the way, delving into it and exploring the obscure. Most nights, all I get in response to my fun fact is miscellany, I honestly don't know how to pronounce that word, of blank screens and forehead pictures. But once in a while, a recipient will share their sense of wonder or pose a counter-argument. These are my favorite moments. They show that I'm creating a real dialogue in a place where that's uncommon. I love to find opportunities to learn in the most unexpected of places. I know that as an FO, wait for it, with or without Mr. Trebek, I'll do that every day, and I can't wait. So, first of all, Alex Trebek, very sad. Number two, I called the school mascot the FOs. This is because when I visited Williams, I bought Williams stickers, which had the mascot written on them, which is in this weird, I actually have one on my laptop. It looks like it says FO, and it's actually where the EFs, EPH is where the an EF. So I misspelled the school mascot in my essay, but I guess that wasn't a fatal error. So there's that. As you can tell, I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I wanted to be like a little quirky, lighthearted, and fun. Some people talk about much more serious, personal, like identity stuff. That is great. But I chose to go like a more lighthearted route. Obviously, my main theme that I was like really trying to push in their faces was, I love learning, yay, let's all hug and read books together, ooh. Which is a little cheesy, but I think I got away with it because like I was really like supporting it sort of with evidence that I do this in my day-to-day life. It's true, I keep streaks at Williams. I have some people at Williams who I've streaks with who are just the coolest people. Like, I think you can do something cheesy if you can be convincing about it. And so I actually had this thing that I could talk about. You know, obviously my Snapchat streaks are not talked about anywhere else on my application, but they are a thing I've been doing for years, that I do every night, and for the simple reason, because I love learning. So it was this sort of period of self-reflection for me as I was deciding what to write my essay about, because I felt like I was so boring. And so I literally like sat down at a coffee shop one afternoon just thinking about things that might make me interesting. And I didn't have a whole lot, but I thought my Snapchat streaks might be one of them. And so that's what I recommend, is just thinking about things that make you interesting. And they don't have to be deep. Like, Snapchat is not deep, but you can find something deep within that and make that work. So I opted to make my essays a little less formal and a little more cutesy, I guess. But that was my choice. Different things will work for different people. But that's what I did, and it worked for me for the most part. So with any of your questions, please leave them below. If there are any other of my college essays you would like me to read, I would be willing to do that. You can check out my college admissions reactions video to see which schools I applied to. And I am not an expert, I can't reiterate this enough. So I am going to be more helpful telling you about life at Williams than how to get into Williams, because I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know how I got into Williams. All I know is that I'm here and I love it. And so I wish all of you the best of luck. Yeah, have a good one. See ya. Tell me what you want to see next.